Standing here with Mama Zion, you have a great kid. Seems like he's very well spoken. How do you handle all this hype around him as a parent?
Well, we've had to learn as we go through this process, and he's worked really hard. He's garnering all this attention, so we just kind of, we talk about it. Talk about what people might ask you. We talk about what what you need to do, but he's always been a mannerable kid. We've never had that problem, so it's kind of going hand in hand. He does this, he enjoys it, he gets the attention, but as parents, we know when to shut it off and allow him to wind down, hang out with his friends, and be a kid. So he understands when you come to events like this that it's a part of it. So he's handling pretty good, and we're okay.
So I noticed you and Pops, y'all were standing there doing the media school. Y'all do that every
single time he has an interview. He knows he does no interview without either him or I are present. Because media, you have a job to do and you want to find out things, but those are kids in the end, and he's respectful. If an adult asks him something, he just feels prone to answer it, whether he wants to or not. So, we just don't want people to push him to say anything that he's not ready to say. I think a lot of what prompted us is I think a lot of media were trying to push him to say who you're interested in, to create a list. We're not at that point yet, and we're not going to allow people to make him be at that point yet. He's enjoying it, he's going through the process, and he really hadn't sat down and say, okay, well, these are it. He's enjoying the process, and right now he's interested in who's interested in him. So if the love keep coming, we're going to keep taking it. So at that point, as we start to go through that senior year, we'll sit down, we'll take visits, and they'll move from there. So I think the big thing is people are trying to push him to say, this school is out, these schools are in. So that's why we're around to stop that.
At what point did you realize, like, wow, my son is really loved. Like, the people really love my son.
Well, I think social media, we live in a social world, so, you do all these things, all these dumps and stuff, and people get excited about that stuff, and so I guess all the attention, I'm like, oh wow, I'm not into social media like that. So he goes, I have so many thousands of followers on Instagram. I don't even know what Instagram is, but so I'm happy for him. He's getting the attention and love, so he's worked really hard to get where he is. He still has a long way to go, so I'm just excited and happy for him that he's getting to go on this journey, and we're with him.
And what advice would you give to future parents who might be in the same situation you're in? You got a son that ends up being a phenom in most people's eyes. What advice would you give to them?
Well, as I said, we're still going through this journey. We're still learning a lot of things. But one thing I do know is, people always say you keep your circle tight, you keep it small. We are learning that firsthand, that people are trying to penetrate, and sometimes it's not for good. And, I don't know if everybody want to be a part of something. So, people try to come in, attach themselves, and so I think the biggest thing is keep your circle tight. Whoever is that immediate people, the family, or whoever, that's who it is. And yeah, you have people around you, but that's who it is. That you need to have people they can go to ask their advice, and they get an honest answer. It's not some kind of underlying motive to give you this answer, and it's not benefiting the kid. So keep that circle tight. That's what we learned.
Last question: why is your son the best player in the country?
Well, that's what y'all said. That's what he's the best player in the country. And what we say is, oh, that's nice, rankings and all that's good, but, you got to go out there and perform every time you step on the floor. And people are, college coaches are coming out to see you, and they're taking a chance on you, and, they have to feed their families too. So the hype is good, but if you don't produce, you don't get to play. So we tell him, that's wonderful, but you continue to keep working hard, you keep evolving. Every time somebody sees you, you show them something different about your game. So, keep working hard, and it'll happen.